Well, first of all, I'm very keen about women because I'm a woman for so many years. And I think if we don't do something by ourselves, we can never become game changers. So in order to change certain mode of looking at how women behave, I feel it's very important for us to be polished and to be educated. And knowledge can improve people's behavior and also improve people's respect for us. So as the game changer for so many years, together with a lot of friends who are women friends, we decided to be trailblazers in Hong Kong and to educate more younger women and to give them a chance of opportunity to provide a platform for them to be better in their own career or in their education. We thought this year is the 70th anniversary of our country, and also Federation of Women has celebrated 25 years of existence. We want to do something not only for women in Hong Kong, but we want to join hands with women from overseas. We must do something to bring them to Hong Kong, to share opinions, to share ideologies, and also to see how we can join hands to think of the next step forward. It's not just a forum. The forum is only the beginning of things that we should do in the future years.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's a bit unfortunate that the 70th anniversary of the founding of the People's Republic coincided with some of the most serious demonstrations and division, let's say, among the Hong Kong society. How would you describe the situation? How much, for instance, is your life, your business, or the average Hong Konger's life disrupted because of what's happening? Is it a breakdown of law and order here in Hong Kong?
Well, what is happening now, or what will happen in the future, has been within my estimation. Why? Because since 1997, when we have become the special administrative region of our country, a lot of people have not changed their mindset. So they have not transformed from the old SAR mindset, what we call the colonial mindset, into the modern mindset. And back in those days, I have already advised our Hong Kong SAR government, we have to improve a lot in our education to bring young people to understand now they have to be accountable to try to serve Hong Kong, to serve our country, to take up a lot of responsibilities, not to be laid back like in the old colonial days. So our education, the textbooks have not lived up to our expectations. So what is happening now is actually, I think, a transformation to let a lot of our young people to understand they have to stand up to become Chinese. And they have to understand Hong Kong is a very important place, in the city of our motherland. And this is an education, but it has to come sooner or later. And I think the sooner it comes, better than to be later on in years. This is a transformation of Hong Kong to be modernized, to catch up with the times.
Would you make it a little bit more specific for people outside of China who probably don't know what life is really like on the streets of Hong Kong? For instance, when you say that the education has not worked, exactly what do you think should have been made available for these young people to really open up their mind and stay ahead of times?
Well, for example, when I was educated in Hong Kong, I would say about 50-odd years ago, I learned that I am a Chinese and I have to understand Chinese history. Those were in the 1950s, 60s. But since 1997, our textbooks did not educate the students about Chinese history, about, I would suggest, modern Chinese history. So they have a blind spot. And this is, I would say, it's a backward idea in our Hong Kong education department. That means the young people have no idea of national identity and also on national education. And for the last 20 years, we have been voicing out our concern to the government, but then the Education Bureau did not pay heed. They are very slow in catching up with the times. But of course, with Hong Kong's people's hard work, we have been improving on our economy, and we have a lot of support from central government. That's why Hong Kong is moving very fast in terms of financial center, in terms of our what we call the global city mindset, and also because we're able to reach out to overseas in English. That is our advantage. So economy has improved a lot, but our terms of educating young people has been very backward.
So Do you think it is possible to reverse this trend, this gap, this shortfall in education about their identity? Because it seems that the less they feel being Chinese, and then the more there is resistance towards this kind of education about their Chinese identity. Do you see the trend having to go worse before it can get better?
My personal assessment is going to go worse. It's not to the last bottom at this point, because we have lost one generation of young people in Hong Kong. Their mindset has no understanding of being Chinese. So I feel maybe have to go through another 1 year before they can really fully understand, and this generation has to pay for the price. Of course, right now the economy, the average person has suffered quite a bit. Hotel has gone down in terms of the room rates, and also the average person selling goods in the stores, I think their business went down about 20%. A lot of the other shopping centers, even the business went down 30%. Restaurants went down about 20–30% because people are scared to go out on Sundays on the streets in case of any problems. But this is an education we have to learn in Hong Kong, and I feel right now, if we learn it now and improve it, will be better for the future.
You started the very first joint venture on the Chinese mainland after the Chinese mainland opened itself up for reform and international investment. The license number for your business license back then was number 1, 001, the very first. So you have seen how China grown over the past 40 years. What are some of the most memorable moments in your mind, and what do these moments make as a sketch for China's development so far?
My first trip to China was 1978, 10th of December. And in those days, Deng Xiaoping allowed us to go and take a look in Chengdu and Sichuan and also Chongqing. And I was very surprised to see the backwardness between mainland China and Hong Kong. And I thought, if there's a backwardness, there is opportunity to improve. So then 1979, my father was able to go to Beijing, and then we wanted to have a joint venture because Deng Xiaoping insisted there will be I would say the inaugural flight from U.S. airline Pan Am to Beijing in 1980, end of maybe November. So have to have the flight kitchen ready in about 10 months' time. So they insisted that we have to build it in 10 months' time. And the late Director General from the CAC, Mr. Sun Tu, asked my father to say, Mr. Wu, can you put up 5 million Hong Kong dollars first, cash, no guarantee, no letter, no MOU, just a handshake, because we have no one to approve the joint venture. We did all our joint venture laws and our articles of association, everything, but they have gone through all the meetings for 30 times, and no one dared to approve it.
It was the first stone in the river of reform.
It is.
Right.
So I was there with my father. We were sitting in the office of the late Director General, Mr. Sun Tu, and then he just gave me, my father said, Lau Wu, we are all Chinese. Can you help out? Put up the money first. We hope to get it approved before 1st of May 1980. That was in 1979 in November. And my father just took 30 seconds to say, well, we are Chinese. We are from overseas Chinese. We respected Deng Xiaoping and believe in his word of open door and reform. So we go back and get the money and get things done first.
What about 40 years later? Do you think that the 30 seconds of thought was the right decision he made?
Well, we have never wavered our 30 seconds, because since those days, we always think that our country will improve, because Chinese are very hardworking. So if we can start it with a small joint venture, which is the opening the doors, and we got it done by 1980, 1st of May. We got approval by 12th of April, but it's already in operation. So since then, we have started more than 14 joint ventures throughout the country, and then using the same approach, because our concept is not on business, it's mutual trust and respect, and we are Chinese. And if we can do something for our motherland, this is what we try to do as much as possible. And for the last 40 years, I have traveled to all the cities 3,000 times.
Wow.
I've traveled by myself 30 times to Tibet, to Lhasa, to Xinjiang, to Nemong, everywhere.
What keeps you going like this?
And I thought I'm very curious because I want to see someday if I can see everywhere in our motherland. I'd like to see as much as possible and see how we can help those young people there to develop their own career. And if young people can develop the career, they can build a better China. And if China is improving, then it's much better not only for China but for the whole world.
Do you see there are encouraging signs, however small it may be, that things are moving to the direction that you want it?
Always. If you compare how much foreign investment we have from 1978-79 until now, how much is the FDI, and how lifestyle has improved inside China, and also you can see how well educated the younger Chinese are, I think it's a very encouraging sign, because when we went there in 1980, people say, oh, you go to China, it's so poor, why should you go there? I say, you don't look at the China of today, but you think about the China of tomorrow. I say, give you about 30 years' time, China will improve like a century. And I think my prediction was quite accurate. And if you look at 40 years from now, I think with the young people in China, they have the will and they have the guts to work very hard for themselves and also for the country. And they have that sense of pride. And I think that if a country has the young people has the pride and knowledge, they will always do something not only for themselves but for their own country. But one problem I think in China is the young people have to be a little bit more, not so, I would use the word, not so flighty or too expecting too high in terms of own career. They should be a little bit more settled down and try to do things step by step and learn more foreign languages.